Hello everyone. Now this is the fourth episode of Peng's Book Club. Thanks again for coming and watching. And today I'm going to talk about a book of data visualization. It's called Makeover Monday. It should be called #Makeover Monday. It's written by Eva Murray and Andy Kriebel, two data visualization experts, and both are tabloid master. But actually the book goes beyond the tool itself and structured around the ideas of framework that we should follow when we design a good data visualization. Well, you might ask why we are talking about data visualization in the age of machine learning and AI and all those advanced algorithms nowadays so popular. I do believe for a lot of the companies, especially small and medium-sized companies, data visualization and using tools like Tableau or Power BI to gain business insights and help entrepreneurs make business decisions is very useful and important because the big companies do have a lot of data about the consumers and target markets, and it's sometimes so easy to see the pattern behind those customers' behavior. But for small business, sometimes we do need more capability in drilling down a little bit of information and finding one or two particular insight from those simple data. And secondly, I see data visualization as a field go much more beyond the business side. You may have heard a new profession called data journalism, right? So when you are reading New York Times or Wall Street Journal or The Economist, you see sometimes stunning data visualization that describe economic or social issues in such a straightforward yet inspiring way. I think that's the real future of learning how to visualize data. So I think this book provides a very good starting point, and more importantly, it has a practice-oriented style. I'll explain a little bit less why, because you see here we have a hashtag. So the reason behind that is the Makeover Monday is a social media movement made by the two authors several years earlier. They started for each week, they will put out an existing chart and try to make it better. So they basically prepare the necessary data for each chart so people can focus on visualization and analyzing data, thus eliminating a big barrier to participation. And they will post the original visualization data on their websites. And throughout the week, the participants can create their own chart, dashboard, and story to publish, and then the authors will give live feedback. As a matter of fact, you can still visit makeovermonday.co.uk, the website, and click the data sets under the participate, and you will see what is the current weekly challenge. You see here for the week of February 24th, you will see the subject is about housing outcomes for clients of Australian specialist homelessness services. And if you click through that, you will see what's the data source and what is the current, whether it's like a story or dashboard or visualization they are doing, and then you can try to improve on that. So it's something, if you are whether it's a data analyst or a data journalist, you will try, because this is basically your work, you try to keep improving on your first version or second version of the dashboard and try to tell a good story. I think that is something beyond reading this book that should help you a lot. Okay, so the book has a lot of chapters. I'll go straight to chapter 6. It's called designing for the audience. which I think among all the topics is the most important one. Before you start a visualization, or before you uh, try to answer the question, you have to define the question first, right? So after you get a little bit understanding of data, the first thing you should be able to answer is like, what is the purpose of my visualization? Right? So the authors raised quite a few very good questions. So it's about your visualization, about supporting decision making, uh, like what are the most important metrics? Sometimes we call this the North Star metrics, right? And what defines good or bad, right? So in terms of like two things. First, the current situation, is it good or bad? How to define, was it compared with last year or compared with last month? So, and also, what's the trend going, right? Is this a good trend? Are we seeing progress, or are we seeing like a lot of the customer returns and showing like some stores are not just operating well? So these are the key questions that we should be able to answer before we start. So the authors used the Washington D.C. Metro scorecard, and then uh, use the same questions to challenge us with that scorecard, right? So does it support the visualization? The visualization, does it support like decision making? Like, what are the important metrics if you are thinking about like subway operation, right? So you can use this structure of like challenging a particular visualization and apply it to a field, because we all work on different things. Sometimes we work on a membership system, for example. That's what I'm working on, right? So if we are attracting new customers through different channels, are we doing good or bad? Are customers like activated? Will they lapse in a certain month, a certain period? And understand like audience also, you need to know these questions, like, do they have knowledge about topic? It depends on whether you are presenting this to a senior executive, or is someone in your analytics team. Is totally different. And so this is the very interesting questions. How numerically literate are they? Or in some modern way of thinking, this is like, how much data driven are they? They may be numerically literate, understanding basic business numbers, but different when facing an industry questions, they may think about basically revenue, operating profit and loss. Do they really understand how to think about customer life cycle? How do we I consider a long time in lifetime value into the acquisition or cost of a certain customer? So that's something they may not have knowledge, that you need to educate them, right? So and what are their needs? What kind of action do they need to take after reading your dashboard? So that's something we really need to ask ourselves before we present anything. So that's the first key part. And then second key part of the chapter 6 is something about information displays. I feel like the authors have really good examples on this. First of all, look at these the big numbers. We use a lot for showing KPIs, and also raise a point called include context if possible. Just looking at these numbers. If you look at it's 280,000 Q4 sales in 2007. We have no idea whether it's good or not, right? So we add a number called is plus 42.7%, and we still don't really know, is compared with the Q3 2017, or is compared with Q4 2016, right? So that's something we can add more information into these big numbers. And when we try to define compare region, too often we do something like this is probably is like whether you're doing in Excel or in Tableau, they try to use a like same color pattern. If I define 4 different years, we see there are different shades of blue, right? Then we try to highlight them. We try to tell the audience like what are the key information I want you to know. And this is particularly useful when you're comparing, different regions of different time periods. See this example, the East is highlighted in a blue color, and all three other regions are grayed out. This is something we use a lot in data visualization, and same for line chart. Highlight what I want you to focus, and like gray out areas I don't want you to focus. And that's something as an analyst I find particularly useful. Whether this is going to be a dashboard or in a PowerPoint slide or Keynote slide, you want them to get that information rather than let their minds flow whatever they want to think about. That's very dangerous. So I don't want to go to more details. So this is a very good book, and beyond reading the book, you should uh, go to the website and try to practice yourself. I think as a bonus point, I will provide, creating a Sankey chart. So in chapter 10, uh, actually they listed a lot of the charts that we use a lot in business, like area charts, maps, donuts, pie charts, and I find Sankey charts particularly useful for explaining, customer movement, behavioral trends. So I will post a video of using Tableau to create a Sankey chart later, and hopefully you will find it useful, and hopefully you'll get to use data visualization and use this book as a starting point in your future work. Thank you.